Hello and welcome to the couch. This is episode 11, and today I'm joined by my good friends Nathan, William, and John.
Hi, I'm Nathan. I'm excited to be back on the podcast for a second time.
What's up, y'all? I'm John. Excited to make my debut here, and I'm a Dolphins fan.
And I'm William. Glad to be back. I am a Detroit Lions fan.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, and don't worry, people, you're not seeing double. John and William are twins. So, what you guys look tense. I feel like I need to break the tension. Okay. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into like week 11 talk. I'm sure that William, you want to talk about the Lions game. I mean, 7 drives, 7 touchdowns. Like, how fun was that game to watch?
Oh, dude. Sadly, that game wasn't like on in my area. I guess people from Virginia don't want to watch the Lions or the Jaguars. But I was like keeping up with the highlights and stuff online, just like checking the box score and I mean, that's as good of a game as you can get. Like the Jaguars are a terrible team. Mac Jones is awful at quarterback. We did like what we should do to a team of that caliber and just absolutely boat race them.
Yeah, but still, 52 points is crazy. Um, why didn't you just stream East it? Like, what? It sounds like you're not a very dedicated fan.
I'm dedicated, but my roommate's Steelers fan, so we were watching the Ravens
Oh,
Steelers game.
okay.
That was a better game than the Lions one anyway.
Really? Really? You didn't like the beatdown?
I mean, I did, but like I knew that was going to happen, and the Steelers were like that was a close game.
Yeah. I mean, the Ravens Steelers game was really, really close. And honestly, going into that, I had the Steelers winning, and that was a toss-up game. And I'm actually really impressed with the Steelers and how well like they're playing against really good teams. Like what was Russ's first start against them? Was that who did they play?
Like for the Steelers,
Like,
Yeah,
I think there was the Jets, right?
that sounds right. That sounds right. But like since then, the offense has looked so much better and like it has an identity. And I mean, with Fields, it's just like don't turn the ball over. But with Russ, it's like he can make plays and I don't know. I really like the Steelers team, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up finishing first in the AFC North.
yeah, I feel like Baltimore may kind of end up getting over the hump at that point eventually, just with the like more star talent they have on offense. Because like Russell Wilson's like, I think he's really good, but I think Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry may kind of take over here soon eventually. But yeah, I've been kind of almost shocked at how well they've been doing.
Yeah, and like the Ravens are like clearly a better team like on offense. Obviously, like they have all the pieces, but I don't know. The Steelers just play such consistent football, which I guess is Mike Tomlin's specialty. But but yeah, I thought that was a really interesting game. What else did you guys take from that one? If you guys watched it, I don't know.
I think it was a classic Steelers win. I think that's like the third time they've won a game without scoring a touchdown, like just all field goals. And it's pretty impressive they can continue to do so. I think they need to figure out how to get it back in the end zone if they want to win when the playoffs comes around. But I think for right now, they've set themselves in a pretty good spot to at least challenge for maybe the bye, but certainly have a home playoff game or two at their stadium.
Yeah, for sure. I think like if they want to kind of like make any noise in the playoffs, I think they're going to ultimately have to turn those field goals into touchdowns. But to even be in a position where they're competing with Baltimore first in the division is for them. I feel like is pretty incredible.
And still having like one of the best records in the AFC, right? Like,
Oh yeah,
I mean,
Yeah,
I like that game. I'm not necessarily worried about the offense because to me, it's the same thing when the Commanders played the Giants. I think it was like week 2 or 3, and they get to the red zone 5 times and don't convert a single time, and like it's obviously like they're struggling, but I don't think that that's something that's going to continue. You know, I think it happened. It happened early in the year too with the Steelers this year with Justin Fields. I don't think that's going to be something that stays around. Yeah, I think they're 8-2, so they got the Bills and Chiefs are in front of them, but besides that, you know, those are the only teams.
And then I think one takeaway, sort of from the Ravens side, I think the problem is when they get into, they have like a terrible record versus the Steelers over these past few years. I think the problem is in these games, in the playoff games, they seem too Lamar pass dependent, which he's a good passer. Don't get me wrong. I'm not one of those people that says he's like a running back, but I think the problem, like I think Lamar threw the ball 34 times this past game. It's like that's not what your team's identity is. You brought Derrick Henry onto the team for a reason. You need to run the ball. I think that's sort of what hurt the Ravens down the stretch. So like they forget what their whole team's identity is. And they try to be something that while it works, it's not who they are as a team.
Yeah, it's like not their strong suit. Like it's still effective, but it's not what is going to win them those close games. Yeah, I agree, and I think that's honestly, I saw Ravens fans like being mad at John Harbaugh, essentially for the same reason. Like, what are we doing? Having Lamar go out here and throw 34 passes, like we need to be getting Derrick Henry the ball and running those like RPOs and having using his dual threat ability pretty much. Um, and I mean, yeah, like you said, last year in the playoffs that was a problem, and that was why they lost. And yeah, I don't honestly, I'm very worried about the Ravens. 7-4 have struggled against a lot of not very good teams. Um, and so I'm not super high on them because here let's look at their schedule because I think they still have a really hard schedule ahead. They play the Chargers this week, then the Eagles. Then they have their bye week, and then they play they play the Giants, whatever, and then they got Steelers, Texans, Browns to finish it out. So like 7-4, I mean, I think it's pretty feasible that if they start getting into a slump, I mean, they could miss the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they gotta at least split the next two with the Chargers and the Eagles.
Yeah,
Um, at worst, really.
yeah, like I I, I think that they're going to make the playoffs. I'm not saying I don't think they will, but like there's a world where that happens. Like, and it's not too far fetched for that to happen. But yeah,
For a team as good as they are, they've definitely put themselves in a worse spot than they should be in. I think just by the nature of how the NFL playoffs have opened up, I really don't think they're in any trouble missing it. Their schedule is tough. They'll probably, I think they have like four tough games and probably two quote unquote easy ones against the Browns and the Giants. But if they split the four tough ones, you're looking at a 10-win team, and I don't think that's going to miss the playoffs anymore. So I think they'll probably be good, and I think they definitely have the talent to. They're as talented as the Chiefs and as talented as the Bills. It's just a matter of like not shooting themselves in the foot with their late game execution.
yeah,
Yeah, I especially feel like you're not looking at anybody of the AFC South to come out and steal a wild card spot. Like the AFC East, probably not. So like I think they'll at worst get a wild card spot.
yeah, that's true. And they already have the 2 wins over the Bengals too, and I feel like that would be the only team that I could feel like sneaking in and taking a wild card spot from them. But yeah. I mean, what other games did you guys watch? Because I mean, I'm gonna be honest. As an Eagles fan, I watched Thursday Night Football and then lived in bliss after the win. So like, I was just happy all day on Sunday, and I was watching the games. Didn't really care. Just kind of sat on the couch all day. So I was watching all of them. What did you guys watch?
I saw some of the Thursday night football game too, and then some of Bills Chiefs, and
Oh
then some of the Chargers Bengals game.
yeah, Bills Chiefs. That was a good game. That was like the 3 o'clock game that kept flashing on Red Zone, and it was just there like constantly because there was just so much happening. And honestly, I'm super impressed with Khalil Shakir. Like I did not know he was like that. He had like
Yeah,
50 yards of yak on like 7 receptions or something. Like he was crazy, and he's just like that perfect fit for that offense. I feel like because you have Amari, who's like the actual threat, like downfield, but you can just get it to him in open space, and he's gonna be able to make it work.
yeah. Honestly, it didn't shock me because it felt like the Chiefs had kind of been like winning a lot of these close games recently, like the Broncos, and it just kind of felt like once they played a team that was like at closer to their skill level, then they may not be able to have that luck, which I think kind of showed against the Bills.
Yeah, and I think Mahomes' struggles have continued, and I think like I mean, what do you think is going on? Really, realistically, it's not like their offense got worse. I just don't know what's. Is it like a? I don't know. Is it like a feel thing? Like it's just not. He just not doesn't have the right vibe. Like what? If anything, they've gotten better offensively, like player wise, like roster wise. So I don't. That's the thing that shocks me is like I expected the Chiefs to win these close games, but all of their games have been close. I feel like all year.
I think a lot of it, I mean, they've definitely added some good names like Kareem Hunt and DeAndre, but they're missing Rasheed Rice. That's the only reason they added Hopkins, and then the only reason they added Hunt was because they John Pacheco. And those are the guys who were instrumental in the most recent Super Bowl win. Um, I think it's a lot of just like he's still having to build chemistry, and like his number one target now besides Kelsey's a rookie wide receiver, and you're gonna have like a lot of flukiness built into there, as he tries to adjust the game because he's like he's not a dominant like pass catcher. He's very much a guy that's gonna go more horizontal and vertical and try to stretch the field and make catches over the middle. Xavier Worthy, but I think a lot of it's kind of just like not as much trust. I think like you're saying a feel issue. And I don't know. It's definitely been a little weird to see. But yeah, I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I mean, and also like but it's also we're 11 games into the season, right? Like there's some of that feel. I mean, you should be together a little bit more, right? Like some of the trust issues should be solved. Like I get it the first 5 games, but like now it's like now we're still at the point that they were week one playing the Ravens, and their offense looked disjointed throughout the whole game.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine because I remember last year they lost right before Christmas. They lost to the Patriots, and that team was already like glued. They'd already come together. I think part of the problem is just Mahomes doesn't have the weapons he's used to. But also, I'm wondering if maybe they're a little checked out just because you come off back-to-back Super Bowls. You're for the most part, kind of cruising in your division. I wonder if maybe he's just a little complacent and not as like on the point now that like they've gone to back Super Bowls and won. That may not be the case at all, but that could be a reason that I'm seeing.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that makes sense because I mean their defense is so good; it's pretty much gotten them to 9-1 or 9-0 before last week. So it's like, yeah, I guess complacency could be, another reason. But yeah, I don't know. I was just very impressed with this Bills team, and Josh Allen's been playing amazing. And yeah, I honestly think the Bills have a shot at the Super Bowl, which we'll talk about later. But I think the Bills are for real, and I don't know. I think the Chiefs could be setting themselves up for kind of what happened with the Eagles last year, that fall apart in the divisional round, and I don't know, but yeah. But you, John, you said you watched the Commanders game too. I do want to talk about that game because I think this provides a little bit of like legitness to the Eagles, because I think a
Yeah,
lot of people were questioning them, rightfully so. I mean, losing that game, that loss against the Falcons, there's a lot of question marks. I think, especially in the head coaching department. But honestly, over the 6 game win streak, honestly, I don't. I think Nick is doing a good job. I saw a video of one of his pregame speeches, and it was like an actually pretty good speech. Like everybody got fired up, and I was like honestly, I kind of see why he's there, and I think that he's not there to call the plays. He's not there to install an offense, and I think that's why we were so good a few years ago is because we had Shane Steichen and Jonathan Gannon, and Sirianni could do his thing. And I think last year maybe he had to do too much because we just didn't have the talent in the coaching department. But yeah, I think the Eagles get a little bit more respect after that game, and yeah, I mean, yeah. What do you guys have to say about that?
Yeah, I think so. I kind of feel like the Commanders may just kind of be like a one season away type of thing. Like they've like hung in with like some teams with good records, like the Ravens and the Steelers, but and the Eagles, but haven't won any of them, and like they don't have like a signature like big win against a really good team. So I think they've got a lot of good pieces in place, but they just maybe need like another year from Jaden Daniels to kind of like get over the hump.
Yeah, and also, I mean, he's still playing with that rib injury, like clearly, right? Like they were mentioning this
Yeah.
like several times on the broadcast. Like he's got a carbon fiber plate underneath his jersey, and it's like I think that does provide some limitations, but I think I think the Commanders still have a good shot at the playoffs and maybe could win a game. But yeah, I don't think that this is their year to win it all. Um, I think they do have a lot of good pieces around. I think you get one good draft in, you can expand that wide receiver room. You can do it. You can stretch the field a lot more. I mean, right now you have Terry and then Noah Brown or Luke McCaffrey, so there is kind of a bit of a drop off there. But yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily worried about the Commanders at all. But yeah, I just don't think it's their time.
Did AJ Brown and Devontae Smith play?
Yeah,
Devontae
Okay,
Smith,
if I'm
I had him
being
in
honest,
fantasy. He didn't do anything.
what you said?
I
Oh,
had Devontae Smith in my fantasy football team. He didn't do much.
yeah,
It was another Saquon game. He
Yeah.
had all the fantasy points.
Side point, John, your fantasy team is the biggest group of frauds I've ever seen in my life. But anyways, he's first in the league for context, but has the least amount of points scored on him by a wide margin and the least amount of points scored, one of the least amounts. But anyways, I digress.
that's crazy.
Julian, to be honest, if AJ Brown and Devontae Smith play, this game makes me respect the Eagles less almost from the passing standpoint.
Wait,
Because if
why
you
is
think
that?
about it, what'd you say?
I said, why is that?
Because see, the games where like they didn't have one or the other, like that Saints game where I don't think they had AJ Brown, Devontae Smith was hurt. I understand like a poor offensive performance in that game. Saquon Barkley carried them that game. That makes sense, but like this game was pretty much like a dogfight up until the fourth when Barkley ripped those two touchdown runs. And look, I think the Eagles could go win a Super Bowl with that team. Just be now they have Saquon Barkley. But to me, I would be concerned about their passing offense with the fact they couldn't do that much up until Barkley ripped those two runs off in the fourth quarter.
See, I'm glad you said that because I saw a very similar take on Twitter, and I was like, that. No offense, but I was like, I think this is dumb because we got into field goal range twice, and Jake Elliott misses. So that's 6 whole points that we were racing off, and he misses extra points. So we're down. You can go ahead and add 7 points on there that we would normally have. And I'm honestly not. I'm not worried about the passing offense because we're getting down there, and I don't think Saquon ripping off a big run is necessarily a downgrade for our passing attack. I think that's just yippee, Saquon's amazing. Like I think that provides like even if it is a dogfight and it's a close game, Saquon rips a 40-yard runoff, and we're in a way better position. Like just because Saquon's quote unquote carrying us doesn't mean that the passing attack isn't working. It's just we're going to rely on the guys who are going to get it done. We're going to rely on that run game. And I mean, especially against the Commanders, you don't want to give that explosive offense the ball. You want to run the ball and make sure you waste as much time as possible. I mean, that's how they beat us the year we went to the Super Bowl. I remember we were like 7-0, and they just beat us because they ran the ball whole game, and we had like 5 minutes of possession. But I mean, I get what you're saying. because like all year either one of them has been hurt, and I get that, but I don't know. I don't agree. I don't
I
agree.
think at the end of the day, it's a good win against a good team, which is something I feel like y'all needed to kind of add to your sort of like because I did not realize you all were 8-2. Because as a Buccaneers fan, once we kind of destroyed y'all, I kind of wrote y'all off because I was like, I don't think we're amazing. We dominated that game, but you haven't lost since it looks like. And granted, 5 of those games were against all teams that are bad. But I think
Yeah.
that a good win against a good team is like very important, and it's definitely worth taking y'all, you know, with more respect at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Buccaneers honestly are like there's another one of those teams that you just don't want to play first round in playoffs because they could just any given day because they beat what you guys beat the Lions and the Eagles. I feel like you beat good teams all the time. You almost beat the Chiefs.
We gotta make the playoffs first. But
Well,
yeah.
yeah, but I mean, you guys keep it really close with these games, and then you lose to teams like the Broncos, and like it's just like
Broncos are good though.
the
Broncos are
okay,
good.
the
Broncos are
Broncos
good.
are good. The Broncos
I
are good, but when you
we're,
lost to them, they
oh yeah, I thought we were. What are we doing, dude?
yeah.
Bo Nix ran all over us
Hold on, let me.
like an Auburn sorority house.
Oh
He
my
was all
goodness.
over them.
Like an
Bo Nix is kind of nice though. He's the best. He's the best rookie quarterback.
I do think he's better
Whoa.
than Daniels.
Maybe. It's
What
Nix
are
or
you
maybe.
saying?
What did you smoke before this podcast, bro? What in the
Did you
world?
guys see Nix's performance last week?
He played good, but he's not been better than Daniel. Daniel's been running around with a broken rib for a month. Come
Yeah.
on.
I don't know. Check the stats. Check the stats. I
Check
think
the
it's Nix.
stats.
What do you mean check the
Oh my.
stats?
I'm calling it
Nix.
right now. Bo Nix wins Offensive Rookie of the Year.
No,
No.
unless Daniels is like limited by injury, that's not happening.
And even if it's not Daniels, it should be like Brock Bowers. He's top 10 in receiving yards.
Nix isn't even the best. Yeah, Nix isn't even the best rookie in his own division.
Yeah.
We'll see December, whatever date they made the picks. I don't know what day it is.
Isn't it
But
like
we'll see.
it's like in
January.
February.
Yeah, it'll be like February.
It's like
February.
it's like
February. Yeah, we'll see. Bo Nix gets
What
the
do you-
Broncos into the playoffs. I'm calling my shot.
In the playoffs, they have a winning record. That's not a good prediction.
Dude,
There are
hot
one
take.
of 7 teams with a winning record.
That take is freezing
in the
cold, William.
AFC.
Freezing. What do you mean? Okay, to be fair, I also said
That's
last week.
lukewarm at best.
Last week I said the Dolphins were making the playoffs as well. So one of the Dolphins or the Broncos will make the playoffs as a wild card team.
That's like saying, "Oh, my diversified portfolio is going to go up." Yeah, of course it is because you have stake in 2 things.
No, but the Dolphins are like a losing record right now.
Yeah, we're 4-6.
Exactly. I said y'all are coming back.
If you look at the standings, the team most likely to pass the Broncos is the Dolphins, probably. So it's like one of those 2 teams gets in. It's like you win either way.
That's a
That's like
fair
saying
point.
the coin. That's like saying the coin's going to land on head or tails.
It's
You know?
Exactly. I
Denver's
know I'm
gonna
gonna be
happen.
right.
Denver's
Bro.
got the 7 right now, and then the Colts are the 8, and the Dolphins are the 9.
The Colts are the 8.
Colts.
Dude, I've been watching too much Colts football, and it's honestly awful to watch. I hate watching Colts. It's just
They look good. They look good against the Jets. but
they look good for the first quarter, and then the other 3 quarter the second and third quarter they were terrible, and then the fourth quarter Anthony Richardson leads the game-winning drive. Which, with my house, my roommates are Colts and Bears fans, and the ending of those 2 games happened at the exact same time, and it was the exact same situation. Both QBs driving down 1, and they kicked the field goal almost at the same time. And while my girlfriend and one of my roommates are screaming because Kyra Santos' field goal's blocked, my other roommate's like in the corner screaming because the Colts made it and beat the Jets. It was so funny.
Yeah, the Bears ruined my upset pick this last week with that.
I know. Oh, I forgot to do the calculations. We'll see. I did really
I
good
think
last
I
week.
did like decent. I missed a few games, I know. I didn't do as good as the first week.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that Bears game though. Did any of you watch that?
No.
Mm-mm.
Oh
No.
yeah, I watched it. I was following. I at least caught most of the second half because I have love on my fantasy team,
Mm.
and he was tanking. He was tanking hard the first 3 quarters, but he turned it on at the end. No, that was a crazy game. I was like, it just it's I, something like felt in the air, because they were doing the whole like the Bears haven't beat the Packers in 5 years
Yeah.
or however long it's been, and I don't know. It was pretty impressive win. I mean, definitely very fortunate on the Packers' part. But yeah, I think a lot of it kind of just goes to show like when you're the Bears, and they keep digging themselves in holes, hiring the wrong offensive coordinator, not letting him even get through the season. You know, it's a lot of breaks aren't going your way, and you can say it's unlucky, but a lot of it's probably a lot of stuff behind the scenes that allows that to happen. So
Yeah. I mean, watching it, like, I honestly thought the Bears were gonna win. Like, I didn't pick them to win, but like after watching that first quarter, I was like, they actually like I don't know what it is, but it just seems like it's time for it to happen. And yeah, kind of like you said, it was like that fourth quarter, and then when they were walking out for the field goal, I was like, this is gonna get blocked. I was like, he's gonna miss or it's gonna get blocked. I am entirely surprised after recently like a lot of the media has been pointing out the like illegal field goal block attempts, like that Seattle game where it got called, and then like the Broncos game where the Chiefs like not cheated, but got away with a penalty. I feel like it's happened a lot where people are like, "Oh, don't touch the long snapper, don't jump up," like, and there were like 3 penalties on that blocked kick. There was like the guy pushing him from behind. 2 guys were on top of the center before he had his head up. Like, just and then seeing all after that is like, man, it's just so it's gotta suck being a Bears fan. I feel so bad. Like honestly,
your girlfriend's a Bears fan?
yeah, yeah,
Ooh, that's rough.
yeah. It's you know, so I hear like all year, like, oh, this is our year. This is it. I remember at the beginning of the year we were just hanging out like with some of my other roommates who are Bears fans, and um they were doing their prediction, their record prediction. And they were like, I see us going 10-7. And no, no, that's not happening. Uh, but yeah. But I'm honestly, that was a classic game right there. That was good. Did you guys have anything else you want to talk about from week 11 though? Because if not, we'll move into MVPs.
I feel like we hit all the pretty like big games.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
I'm
Um,
good with moving into MVP talk.
okay, let's get into MVP talk. Who wants to go first? Because I am sensing a trend from all of you. Oh, actually, no, John. I didn't see John's yet, but can I go first so I can explain?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Or
okay. So so we're gonna be picking our MVPs, and I don't think this is who is going to win. I think that this is who should win MVP. Like end of the year, I think that this is the real MVP, and it's Joe Burrow to me. He leads the league in passing yards and touchdowns. He's only got 4 interceptions. That's one more than Lamar. Um, and he has all of that, and he's the eighth most sacked quarterback. Like he's under pressure. His offensive line is not good. His defense sucks. The Bengals are 4-7, and their offense is averaging 27 points per game. Like, like no team that's averaging 27 points per game should be 4-7. And literally, if you look at it, the defense is averaging 26.9 points allowed per game. So everything the offense doing is essentially getting erased by the defense by just going on the field, by just playing. And so, like, if the fact they have 4 wins, honestly, is astonishing. And I mean, either of those Ravens games could be, those are coin flips essentially. I mean, those were one-score games that went to overtime. I think both of them did. And so, I honestly think that if they're able to pull out some more wins and sneak into the playoffs, because the AFC is not very deep this year. It's not like last year where there were lots of teams battling for it. And so I want to look at their schedule real quick.
Yeah, I didn't put Joe Burrow, but like I think he's got like a good shot. I can't argue with you there.
Yeah.
He's like he needs help.
Well, I mean, they have the easier part of their season, right? I mean, they have the Steelers twice, the Cowboys, Titans, and Browns and Broncos, and then he's got the Steelers twice. So I think they've got a shot. They just need to like not let teams completely absolutely run through them. Like it's
Yeah.
the defense is just so terrible. Like, and I don't think that Josh Allen's obvious. I think he's going to win it just because they're so good and he's also playing at elite level. But like, imagine if Joe Burrow had a good offensive line and the defense wasn't actually like falling asleep in the middle of the game. And honestly, if I'm Zach Taylor, I don't think I'm gonna punt anymore. Let's just go for it on fourth down every time. The defense lets them score anyways, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just go for it on fourth.
Vontae's perfect. If they want
Vontaze.
some defense, re-sign Vontae's perfect in linebacker.
I don't think they want to do that again. They don't want to go back to
that
that.
cost them a playoff one against the Steelers.
Yeah, but like legitimately, like why are you gonna punt? You just give them, you just go. Like you have like one of the best offensive league, if not the best. Just go for it. That's how bad the defense is to me. But yeah, Nathan, if you want to go next, you can. But yeah, I mean, to me, Joe Burrow is the guy.
Yeah, I guess now listening to what you said, I was a little surprised when I saw like it was written down, but I understand the logic, and I think if they could rip off 6 straight wins, or if they can make the playoffs at the expense of one of Williams' 2 teams, then I think he'd probably have a good shot at it, but maybe I lean a little bit too much into like the team must be good, and I think that's more important for something like offensive or MVP. It's not like necessarily like the Heisman or I think Bro should maybe win Offensive Player of the Year. I
Yeah.
think that one might be accurate, but MVP I've got to give it to Josh Allen. I think he's got the fourth highest PPR in the league, I believe, behind I want to say it's Jackson Murray and is it is it Burrow? Uh, I don't know who it is, but behind two very good QBs, and then but he's doing this all without like a good and well like a really good wide receiver. I think Burrow has two better wide receivers than Allen has, and that's important. But I think Allen's been spreading the ball out. I think 11 different players have caught a touchdown for the Bills, which just shows he's got good chemistry with all of his weapons. And he's been able to use it well. The offense averaging 29 points a game. And then he's got the signature play of the year. I think probably up there with, that run to win the game against the Chiefs is probably up there, right, with like Saquon's reverse hurdle as far as like what you're going to look back on at the end of the regular season. And that's important for voters. And so I think I've just got to give it to him. Bills are number one in wins in the league. With William and Mary alum at head coach and William and Mary alum at offensive coordinator. So I got to shout out my college. But I think he's definitely been the best QB in the league, and he hasn't won MVP before, right?
I don't
No,
think
I don't
so.
think so.
Because
Yeah.
I think
So
he's
then
always been
I
beat
think
out.
that's going to go in his way as well. So
I think he's
I
always
think
been.
he's got the best case.
Wait,
Yeah.
who won in 22?
Was that the weird Rodgers year where he won it again?
No, I think that was 21.
Rodgers won in like 21, 22.
Yeah.
Says
Oh,
it
he
was
won
Mahomes.
Yeah, because that's the year they won the Super Bowl against us.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and I get your point, Nathan. Like, I agree. Josh Allen's like amazing, but also I did look it up, and Joe Burrow is number one for QBR, and then it's Jackson and Murray and Allen. But like, yeah, I mean, Josh Allen's definitely going to win it. Like, and I agree. Like when I say Joe Burrow should be MVP, it is kind of a team also award as well. Like you need to be a good team to be the most valuable player. And so yeah, I think you have a good argument too for Josh Allen. But yeah.
Yeah, I can go. I can get a next one.
All right, yeah.
I said Lamar Jackson. Just because, yeah, I know the Ravens aren't maybe like quite in the spot they'd like to be record wise, but he's second to Burrow in passing yards. He's got 25 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. I saw on Twitter today that apparently the Ravens have more penalty yards than their wide receiver one like has for receiving yards. Zay Flowers. It's like he's got like some guys around him, but like I just don't think he doesn't have like any elite talent wide receiver wise. And then he's got Derrick Henry, and he's still got like 500 some rushing yards. So I think just what he can do for that team, like passing and with his legs, I feel like he's like elevates that team so much.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't picture the Ravens without Lamar Jackson, like having the dual threat ability. And yeah, like you said, the Ravens are like the most penalized team in the league. So yeah, that like the having more yards than Zay Flowers is pretty crazy though.
Yeah, it was like 40, I think, but
Jeez.
still, that's kind of wild.
Yeah, that's crazy.
All right. Guess I'm up. I wrote down Josh Allen at first, but after I switched, I think Justin Herbert should be MVP. Now, hear me out.
Whoa.
He's only thrown 1 interception the whole season. He threw in week 2. And all right, we got that out. In 10 games, his QBR has been over 90 every time. He's the only person to do that outside of Peyton Manning twice, Rodgers, Brady, and Phillip Rivers in NFL history. And I think when you look at the MVP, it's kind of confusing. It's like, oh, is it purely a player award, or is it like what players led their team as to like what they can be? And so I think like Justin Herbert, if you take him or like Josh Allen, if you take either of them off their teams, replace them with like a quarterback who maybe isn't as good, they're not going to be near as good. Versus like, I think with Burrow, if you take Joe Burrow off that team and put Jalen Hurts in, I think that they're still doing as good. But like Justin Herbert, I think if you take him off of that Chargers team and you put like a Jalen Hurts in there, I don't think they even have a winning record. I think that Justin Herbert deserves the MVP for how well he has led that team, especially with the lack of weapons. Like Vlad McConkey's good, but like they don't have any elite talent around him really.
I mean, yeah, I mean, there's not really like running back. You have J.K., who's pretty solid, but I wouldn't say he's like an elite level talent. I mean, yeah, and you have like Ladd and Quentin Johnston. I agree. Herbert's played fantastic, but it's also they're just not as good as some of these other teams. Like especially the Bills. I think it's the one thing. Like if the Chargers end up with a better record or even a closer record to the Bills, like maybe Herbert, but like I think Allen just has the more like eye popping statistics. Like I think Herbert's just having an underrated season, in my opinion.
I agree with that. I will say, quick story time. 4 years ago, this is going to sound like the LeBron James story where he says he said something and then it doesn't really happen, but I promise this happened.
Okay.
4.5 years ago during COVID, when the NFL draft is coming up, John's a Dolphins fan. And so we're talking about the draft. He's like, who are we going to pick? And he said, I think we should take Tua. I said, no, you guys need to take Justin Herbert. He's a lot better than Tua. And he said, no, that'd be a stupid pick. I would just like to point out now, I believe I was right on that take just to hype myself up.
Wow. Wow. You predicted that a very good quarterback should be taken instead of another mid quarterback?
Yes. Yes. But I was supremely right. I would just like to put that out there.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong, yeah. I mean, yeah. I can't believe Herbert has but also like the Chargers just run the ball the whole game, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't necessarily surprise me that he only has 1 interception because they run the ball with JK 20 times, like 20, 30 times a game, and you know he does what they need him to do.
Yeah.
He's being efficient.
Oh, sorry. Where it's like if he's throwing the ball, he's fifth in like least interceptable balls thrown, I think.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. It's
I
kind of to me that argument's also like the Brock Purdy argument last year. Like,
I don't even think it's that because it's like the Chargers aren't even top 50. Like they're in the bottom half in points per game. Like how can you be a MVP caliber quarterback when your defense is the better unit?
I think it's just the throws he's making, like especially that Bengals game. Watching the way he like diced them up in that fourth quarter, to me, that's like what an MVP does. Like I don't think they win that. I think that Chargers team is nowhere near 7-3. If you take Justin Herbert and replace him with a quarterback of like a little lower caliber.
I
I
know
mean,
you.
I think Herbert's definitely turned it on, and I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I personally think Herbert's like top five QB like overall, but like I feel like for the first half of the season, he just wasn't asked to do a ton just by the nature of like Harbaugh's offense. It's like a lot of running, and the QB's not asked to do a ton, and he's picked it up when he's had to, and there's a reason they're 7-3 because he is a good quarterback. And he does make those throws like you were talking about, but also like he was on the offense when they let the Bengals got back in the game. He put up the 27 points, but he didn't do anything like the next what probably 18 minutes of the game or what have you, next like 20. So I
Yeah,
don't know. I mean, he makes the plays when it matters, but I don't think that's an ADP. Like, I mean, it's good criteria, but you need other stuff backing
and
it up.
even talking about the game, J.K. Dobbins is the one who ended it. He scored the touchdown to win it. They didn't put the ball in his hands to score a touchdown. They gave it to the running back to get a field goal, and it just so happened that they got a touchdown.
I
Yeah.
will
So
agree with you, William. Nobody looks better handing the ball off than Justin Herbert.
To be fair, he was hurt in the first half of the season.
what?
He was hurt.
I mean, that's fair, but
Yeah, I don't know if you can pick an MVP based off what he does for half the season.
Hey,
But
William.
like,
if that were the case, Embiid would be MVP every year.
Yeah. Embiid literally would win MVP.
who would?
Embiid.
Embiid,
Oh, that's true.
availability is very
The best
important.
ability.
All right, let's go on and move. Like all this MVP talk. Let's do Super Bowls. I don't know why, but this week I'm feeling to talk about the end game. I guess. Who wants to go first? Ooh, Nathan, you go first. I'm more intrigued. I'm most intrigued by yours.
Yeah. So I was looking at what y'all both put, and it's like I would have just done the same thing as I don't know who wrote Lions Bills, if that was John or William, but I that's honestly what I was thinking looking at it. Um, as far as the Lions are concerned, I think they're clearly like a rung above any NFC team. They've lost what William, y'all have lost Hutchinson. You just lost Anzalone. Who's the third guy? Important
We
guy you
lost.
lost?
Was it offense or defense?
I thought it was defense, but
Derek Barnes, one of our linebackers, is out for the year.
who?
Who else?
Yeah, no, that
Our
sounds right.
left tackle. He's been out for a few games, but he should be back soon.
Yeah, like I think even with all their injuries, it hasn't really stopped them. And the only reason they're not undefeated is because like the Buccaneers had insane luck in the red. Like I think the Lions got in the red zone like basically every drive and just could not score a touchdown. That's the only reason they're not undefeated. I think they're clearly the best team in the whole NFL, really, so far. In the AFC, I'll let whoever else had the Lions elaborate further, and probably William. But I wanted to say the Bills, but I put down the Steelers. I don't feel super confident in it, but I think when you look at the AFC, I feel like there are like four teams that are legit contenders, and the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Bills, and then the Steelers. And I can just kind of see the Steelers, you know, I think they're a class above what they normally are. We've talked about consistent play, but consistent play that normally ends up with them like, just squeaking into the playoffs, and they're way above that right now, way above where everyone thought. So I could just see, Russell Wilson, as long as he keeps them in games throughout the playoffs, they have the defense. And Wilson might be a little washed at this point, but I think he has enough magic and sort of playoff experience, really more than any of the younger quarterbacks, to just kind of keep them in games and then win them games if he has to. So that's why I went Steelers. Back another William and Mary head coach. So
Wow, that's the bias coming through right there. That's crazy.
look, look, hey, 1/16 of all NFL head coaches went to William and Mary. So
Wow, is that a true stat?
true stat.
Wow.
Sean McDermott, Mike Tomlin.
Oh, I
Soon to
guess
be
I guess that it really isn't
3:32. 30 seconds.
332.
Once Joe Brady gets hired, so we'll see.
Well, who was that? You, William, who put Lions versus Bills?
Yeah, that was me.
All right, you can go ahead and talk next because we just talked about the Lions a little bit, and then that'll go into
I mean, I
mine.
think the Lions are the best team in the NFL right now, hands down. I think, to be honest, I'm not too concerned about the rest of the NFC really in the playoffs. Like, the Eagles are probably the team that scares me the most if we had to play anyone. But I think we learned from last year that Dan Campbell doesn't do what he did in the NFC Championship game. I think we go to the Super Bowl. And then I think AFC, I think it's just the Bills. I think they're a better team than the Chiefs right now. And I don't think the Ravens are going to figure out what to do in the playoffs this year. I think this is the Bills' year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt. Like, I don't disagree with you because for me, I got Eagles Bills, and like you said, the Bills are just to me clearly the best team. I think the Chiefs are always. I think that they're still a threat to the Bills, just because their defense is so good, and obviously playoff Patrick Mahomes. But I do have the Bills going to the Super Bowl, and I have the Eagles too. The way that we've been playing the last 6 weeks, um, it has pretty much just been on point, offensively and defensively. I think we have the number one ranked defense now in the league, for total defense. And both teams are on a 6 game winning streak. Offenses that are amazing and really good defenses. And I think that when you look at all the Super Bowl teams or most Super Bowl teams, those are the things you look at: explosive offenses and really good defenses, or at least solid defenses. And I think that those are the ones that um, I, the Lions too obviously have explosive offense and a really solid defense. But to me, I think I think the Eagles would win over the Lions in the playoffs. Um, but that's also because I'm biased as an Eagles fan. But I think that yeah, I don't know. I just sometimes it's just a feeling, and I just got a feeling about that. Eagles v Bills. John, who do you got?
I would kind of went back and forth. I thought Lions Bills at first too, but I think for now I'm just gonna say Lions Chiefs. I mean the Lions are clearly the best team in the NFC. Um, I like the Bills a lot, but the Chiefs in the playoffs always just seem to get it done. Like it doesn't matter like health wise or like who they're playing or where they're playing. Like they just always seem to get it done. So I feel like I just can't pick against them to just keep doing what they've always done and just somehow find their way to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean they were so close last year. So
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, you just want to get into Week 12 predictions now because I know William, you have to go in about an hour and a half. Or no,
Yeah.
I guess about what 30 minutes.
Yeah, I got 30 minutes.
Okay.
An hour and a half. I was gonna say that's crazy.
Yeah. No, sorry. I'm an hour behind you guys. It always messes me up.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot about that.
Yeah. I'm in Central, so like,
Is it snowing out there?
no. It's cold. It's really cold today. But it's not even as cold as it was in Roanoke this morning. It was like 39 here this
Yeah,
morning.
it was 39 here.
Oh yeah, and yeah. Honestly, it doesn't snow that much here, like, cause I'm in southern Indiana. But like, you go anywhere, no, like I don't know, like an hour north of here, it's probably already snowing. So
Yeah, it was freezing going to work. Like when I walked out the door, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is reason.
Yeah, yeah.
John wouldn't know because he has this corporate elitist job up in a different part of the state where he can work from home in the comfort of his couch.
A cushy
I'm
job.
sensing some jealousy,
Yeah.
No,
but
I'm
I was
just
lucky.
messing with him.
It's like 50 here. It was like
Oh
Oh, wow.
my
mid
gosh.
50s.
50.
Normally we track around the same as Roanoke, but I didn't realize it was that cold back there. But yeah, it's nice here. I mean, hoodie, sweatpants, very comfy.
Yeah.
No, I'm jealous of Nathan's weather.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I walked out the.
Julian, is it okay? Or go ahead,
I was gonna. I was just gonna say I walked out to go to class this morning. I turned around, went right back inside to go change because I was not prepared for it to be this cold. But sorry, what were we gonna
Answer
say?
me honestly. Did you have shorts on when you first went out?
Me? No, I didn't have shorts, but I had a short sleeve shirt. And then,
Okay.
like, yeah, the air went through air went right through my shirt, and I was like, oh no, we're not doing this today. Just turn right around.
What did you say it was? The temperature?
Wait, what?
What did you say the temperature was?
It was 39, I think,
Oh, okay.
earlier
Wait,
this
so
morning.
it's the same as Roanoke then?
Yeah, I thought Roanoke's was 29 earlier this morning. Like
I
the
don't think
low.
it was that cold.
The low was 30 today for Roanoke.
Okay.
And then yeah, this morning it was like 39 or so. Well, I said the low was 37, but yeah, it's like 39. It's 40 right now. So yeah, but yeah, let's get into Week 12 predictions. So like I said earlier, we're gonna go just one by one. So in the first game, I got an upset. I feel like for tonight on Thursday Night Football. I know we've been talking about how good the Steelers are. Um, and I think they're a really good team, but I feel like this is a little bit of a trap game. And in a very similar way, how the Browns beat the Ravens, I think they'll get the win tonight. Honestly, um, I like the matchup. Um, kind of struggling last week, like we talked about, only winning off only field goals, but I think the Browns got a pretty good shot to win this one and cause a little bit of mayhem in the AFC North. But yeah, that's who I got for that game. And then Nathan, do you want to go next?
Yeah. For this game,
No,
Steelers, Browns.
no, we'll do. I'll do one game and then you do the next
Okay.
game. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah. So I have the Kansas City Chiefs versus Panthers game. This one feels pretty obvious. I think it's the Chiefs, and then I wouldn't be surprised if this is where we finally they really turn it up a gear and kind of treat the Bills game as a wake up, and they beat the Panthers by at least a couple touchdowns, like 17 points. What I'm seeing.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, and then John, you got the next one, and then we'll go William.
Okay. One sec. Let me get it up. What is the next game?
It's Minnesota versus Chicago.
Oh, Minnesota, Chicago. Yeah, I think Minnesota. I think Chicago's kind of started to struggle some more recently, and Minnesota maybe hasn't been. They maybe haven't been quite as elite as they were looking at the beginning of the season. But yeah, I just think the Vikings have. They're just so much more experienced. I'm gonna take the Vikings.
Yeah.
All right. I'm Texans Titans, I believe. John, first off, I'm sad you didn't hit the Minnesota from that one Joe Biden meme. But anyways, I think the Texans win this game. I mean, the Titans are just a terrible team. And Nico Collins is back as well, so I think the Texans roll in this game.
Yeah. Sorry, I kind of gave you guys all the bad games immediately. I didn't mean to do it that way. Like I got a really interesting game
Well,
and you guys got all like the slam dunks. But
Oh, you're good.
no, I get my slam dunk now cuz I got Detroit versus Indy and that's going to be a steamroll. I mean, the Colts defense has really struggled against the run all year and I think with David Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs, both of them are going to have a huge day. I don't see how the Colts could stop the Lions. Give me the Lions.
Yeah, that seems like another Detroit's just gonna rerun what they did against the Jaguars.
Yeah.
I have Patriots and Dolphins, and I'm gonna go for a little upset. I'm gonna have the Patriots beating the Dolphins. Drake May Magic. He was my pick this year to be the best quarterback out of his class, and so far every game he started, he's looked good. So I'm feeling good about it. But now I have New England over the Dolphins by a field goal.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, is it me?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's you.
Okay. I'm gonna take. Okay, so I get Tampa Bay and the Giants. I'm getting another pretty boring one. I'm gonna take Tampa Bay. I don't think Tommy DeVito is gonna come off the bench and really do much for this Giants. I don't think he's gonna.
You don't think
I
the
know
gobbledygook gets the win?
I don't think he was alright last year, but I just don't think they. I think they're just a very dysfunctional team. I don't think he's going to be able to do too much to change that.
You don't think Tommy DeVito goes to the poop deli and gets? Have you guys heard that meme?
No.
You guys have never heard about that meme?
No.
Oh, all right, I gotta cut that out then. That's crazy. Have you guys never heard about that? The poop deli?
The poop deli.
Go on TikTok. Go on TikTok after this and look up the poop deli. Are you looking up right now? The poop deli. It's like it's this guy on TikTok who like he pretends that he goes into a bodega and starts ordering poop. Have you never seen this?
Is this more brain rot?
Yeah, it's brain rot for sure. I gotta cut this out though. That's crazy.
All right, John, the mob might come for you for picking against Tommy DeVito, but so hopefully when you wake up for Thanksgiving Day, it's not like your head chopped off in the bed with the horse, like from The Godfather. I think that's that movie. Anyways,
You don't even know if this is the right movie?
I don't know. Never seen it before. I just know the one scene where like the horse's head is cut off and then the dude's bad. But
Yeah.
I think Commanders Cowboys. I think this game is closer than we think. It just seems like the Cowboys have kind of had the Commanders' number over the years, but I think the Commanders win this game. The Dallas is just like I said in the last podcast, Dallas is normally like Mariah Carey. Everyone loves it in November and December, and then by January it's just nope. But this year they're even worse before that. But I think the Commanders win this game.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta agree with you. Wow, there are a lot of bad games this week. This is a very boring week. I think they went all star last week because we had like all the primetime games were huge.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got Denver versus Las Vegas. Give me Denver in this one. This is another I think pretty obvious one to me at least because I mean Denver's been playing solid ball all year, and I think the Raiders are just so inconsistent. I don't think that inconsistency is going to help them against a really good Broncos defense. So give me Denver.
Yeah, I think these last four games is where the slate heats up.
Yeah.
I have Packers versus 49ers. 49ers really need a win, but it's in Green Bay, and I think I'm gonna stick with Love and his team to just keep pulling games out, and I have Green Bay winning this game.
Oh wow.
Okay, so I get Arizona and Seattle. I think this is gonna be a good game. I was kind of high on Arizona at the beginning of the season with Kyler Murray coming back, but I think I'm gonna have to take Seattle. Just Geno Smith is just like a veteran. He knows what he's doing. So I'm gonna take. I feel like this is almost kind of like a coin flip. So I'm just gonna take Seattle.
Yeah, I mean that's a really important game too for that division.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And
And
then sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, William, you have Philly Rams.
Yeah. I have Rams Eagles. I think that's Sunday Night Football. That looks like a very good game. Two kind of similar teams, really good offenses and then solid defenses. I think this one's a shootout. In the end, I think the Rams barely take this game, but I think it's like a 37-34 win on the last second field goal type of game. Whoever gets the ball last wins this game.
Don't do it to me, William. Don't do it to me. I can't believe that. Yeah, I mean, this is another game that's really really close. Like it's honestly hard to pick, but yeah. And then to round it out, I got Baltimore versus the Chargers on Monday Night Football. This is gonna be like the game of the week, honestly, because the way the Chargers have been playing, I think it's gonna be a real test against this Baltimore team. And same thing for Baltimore, honestly. Like, can you come out here and get a good win after a rough loss to a team that didn't even score a touchdown on you? And I think this game is going to be honestly, this game might be over in 2 hours just because of how much both teams are going to be running the ball. So like this is going to be to me it's going to be a very short game because of that. But yeah, I like the Chargers of this one. I like the upset with the Chargers. I think Baltimore falls again, and I really think that the AFC North is going to shake up a lot this week with Cleveland and Baltimore winning. In my opinion, but yeah. But
Johnny, if you're a Cleveland pick, you could have done the LeBron. Cleveland!
yeah, I mean, wait, what? What are you talking about? The Cleveland?
When LeBron won in 2016, he does his like press conference like after the game. He's like, Cleveland, this is for you.
Well, I do not remember that. I've never
You're
seen
too
that.
young, Julian.
I've never seen
What'd
that.
you say?
He's too young.
Yeah, I am
Oh,
too
yes.
young. I don't even know if I had
How
started
old were you
watching.
in 2016?
He was 12, right?
I don't
No,
think I
he
was
might
watching
have been
basketball
11.
yet.
That's crazy.
I don't think I was watching basketball yet, to be honest. I think I just started watching football.
Mm.
Yeah, because I think the first it was either 2015. I watched when we had Sam Bradford. That was the first Eagles. No. The first one I watched was Michael Vick. So yeah,
That was like 2010s, I guess.
I think it was
2014?
2014 was the last year we had him,
Okay.
and then it was Sam Bradford. But anyways, yeah, I mean that's pretty much all. I mean, thank you guys for coming on. Thank everyone for listening and watching. And I'll see you guys next week.